we're here to talk about White Men Can't Jump. Honestly, movie fucking terrible. I'm just kidding. But if you listen to the critics that have bombed this movie in the reviews, then that's what you would think. And it might turn you off from watching it. And I'm here to say, fuck them. Don't listen to them. Watch it. It's a really good movie. It's, shout out to Calmatic. I think, is it Calmatic or Calmatic? Because technically his name is like Calmatic. I don't know. I'm going to call him Calmatic. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, my apologies. Please correct me. But yeah, so shout out to Calmatic because he came out with that in House Party. 2 remakes in the same year. And to be frank, neither one of them are bad. House Party was worse, but their biggest downfall is their name. And I told my sister this because my sister and her husband loved House Party. Now, the reason my sister loved House Party was because she doesn't know sports nor music like that. So she didn't see the 5011 fucking cameos that were there. That's what turned me off of House Party. I felt like House Party was really good, except for the fact that it was like the 1990s and I'm watching the fucking Sorts Awards where when one person wins the award, the entire entourage hits the stage. Like, baby, what? No. Just because people are on set that day does not mean they need to make a cameo. It was so overwhelming, the amount of cameos. I felt like the cameo was just so unnecessary. I know this is like, I'm talking about White Men Can't Jump, and here I am talking about House Party. So I'm about to end it. But I would just say that, like, my biggest thing about House Party and White Men Can't Jump is that change the name. Like, the whole problem with both of these movies is they have such an original enough storyline. It's not original, but it has enough of an original essence to it that it could have been a completely different name. You could still say it's inspired by, just change the fucking name. To me, reading a lot of the complaints from critics were all they were doing was comparing it to Woody Harrelson's performance and Wesley Snipes' performance. Let's be frank. Jack Harlow is no Woody Harrelson and Sinqua Walls is no Wesley Snipes. But that's not to take away from their performance, because I felt like similar storyline, completely different vibe. I felt like when I was watching it, I appreciated it. I appreciated the storyline for what it was. I appreciated their chemistry. I thought everybody's chemistry was fucking good. Like, I love the banter between Jack Harlow and Sinqua. The banter was so good. And the reason that it was so good, because like for me, my biggest thing is when it comes to the writing. Like, shout out to the writers, okay? Especially with this whole WGA strike. Like, I really enjoyed the writing in this film in regards to the banter back and forth, in regards to the tone that is set. And it just reminds me, like, pay these motherfuckers. Like, pay them! Because, like it or not, like, I'm saying like the movie or not, they did a really good job. So, that's just that note. But I felt like it was very good for 2023. However, my biggest critique is I think the worst thing that they did with this movie was name it White Men Can't Jump. I don't know what they were gonna name it, but they should have done like, and maybe they did, like a focus group to figure out, do you like this movie based on, like, does the name make you like this movie less? Because I feel like a lot of the critique is because people can't help but compare it to the original one, and compare it in a negative way, because you can't remake that. Like, my biggest thing with remakes is that certain things were made in a certain time. Like, number one, this was made for millennials, but millennials grew up on White Men Can't Jump. The reason I say it was made for millennials is because when I look at Gen Z, like, the way the basketball courts used to be locked and loaded anytime it was even a remote good day in my neighborhood is not how it used to be. So I'm just speaking on personally, I drive past the courts every single day when I go to and from home, and I'm like, the courts are not like after school, the courts used to be locked and loaded. And so I don't think this movie was made for a generation younger than like the age of 25. But it's fine. But it's just to say that like we grew up on White Man Can't Jump. So it's like we didn't ask for a remake of it. However, this was done so good. If they would have just changed the name, I'd have been cool with it. We got so many goddamn buddy cop movies that are pretty much very similar. I mean, you got two cops that are very different paired up to fight crime, but there's so many versions of it, you know, with a little twist here. So I feel like we're kind of constrained to call things remakes and redos and this, that, and the third. But, and I guess maybe it's like the concept of like, not all press is good press, because obviously you're gonna get people talking about it, because all they're gonna do is be like, no, we didn't ask for this, because that's pretty much like why I posted, because I know for a fact that my followers are gonna be like, fuck this shit, I don't want to see it, we ain't asked for it, da, da, da. But I feel like in the long run it is so detrimental, because House Party was not a bad movie. Name it something else. First off, House Party to me was so not like the original. It was like the parts that they pulled in from the original were the parts that I would have just scrapped out 100%. I would not have put them in there. They were so forced. So for me, when it came to House Party, I'd have called that something completely different, because they had like the party with like Mandela Van Peebles and YG was in it. Like, you can make another party movie. It was giving me way more Project X vibes than House Party. Like, if you would have cut the scenes that were so in essence of House Party and called it something else, it gave me way more Project X vibes. That's just my thing. When it comes to White Man Can't Jump, yes, this movie to me was way more in the vein. I felt like the concept was very much White Man Can't Jump, but I felt like could have named it something completely different, and it would have got better reviews from critics and more people excited to see it, you know, because like, you know what's so interesting? So Praise This came out recently, like maybe a few weeks ago, and to me Praise This is pretty much like giving me Fighting Temptations. You know, it's pretty much giving me Pitch Perfect. It's giving the concept of you have the main characters coming into a new environment where there's music involved, and at the end there's always going to be a competition. You get a winner, which will 9 times out of 10 be that person, or they will lose, but they will have learned a story. Like, these concepts are not original, but they didn't call it, it's not a remake, it is an original concept, but I still was okay with it, right? I was still excited to see it, although I knew it's in the vein of fucking Sister Act, Pitch Perfect, Fighting Temptations, all of these other films that are so similar to that concept. So when it comes to White Man Can't Jump, I think the biggest, worst thing they could have did was name it that movie. Like, give it that title. Because the movie itself, good as hell. Like, it was so good. Like, okay, now I want to go, I guess, into like the characters. Like, just give a little bit of a shout out to some of the characters, because I really, really, really enjoyed everything. Shout out to Sinqua Walls. I really hope I'm saying his name correct. It will suck if I'm not. But shout out to him. Okay, number one, I'm wearing this shirt because I was watching it. I was like, oh shit, I got that same shirt. Urban. I mean, maybe they didn't get it, you know, they sourced it. But I'm not gonna lie, one thing I did note was like a lot of the clothing in this, I was like, either I have it or I have a friend who has that, literally that same exact thing. That was just the one thing I noted, like, oh shit, I got that, I got that. So that's number one. Before, I love the chemistry. Shout out to Tiana Taylor. Like, I want to see her in more acting roles because baby can act. So if you have not seen 1001, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch it. It's very, very good. She did an amazing job. Number two, was she supposed to be a hairdresser in her past days? Because this is the second role where she is like has aspirations to have her own salon. Number three, her, like, the scene, spoiler alert, there's a scene, not spoiler alert, there's a scene where she doesn't say anything. She speaks with her face, and when I say baby did that and more, and I was so happy because damn, that Beyonce song, I'm happy, see, my husband, it just popped up in my head, but I was so happy to see that moment, because that one scene, to see her face, her not say anything, but her say everything and not do too much. And for me, I was completely triggered. I'm not gonna cry, but like I am getting emotional right now because I was immediately triggered because, damn it. Oh, don't you hate when you're like unnecessarily emotional? But I lost my uncle on Christmas, and it's still, I was telling somebody like, oh, I still annoying, right? But yeah, so weirdly enough, I still have memories of that day and remember seeing my brother walk down the stairs, not say anything and say everything. And so, okay, y'all, I am an emotional person. What I'm talking about, I'm a Scorpio. I'm very emotional. But this was like my favorite uncle, my family favorite uncle anyway. So to see Tiana do, like, literally, and she didn't even look at him, but like see that scene, one, I felt it on a personal level, but number two, I felt it because I was like, damn, they be acting more things. I want to see more things. So that was that. Shout out to Jack Harlow. I don't care. A lot of critics are complaining because they feel like you are no Woody Harrelson, because you ain't. But you're Jack Harlow, and in this role, you were extremely, extremely well. Everything he was saying, yo, when he called him chocolate, he said, when he called him chocolate, when he called him chocolate, and he was like, what? He was like, because a lot of y'all are milk chocolate now. And he was like, that probably has to do with interracial dating was outlawed until the 60s. I don't know why, but it's like, the reason I really enjoyed a lot of this banter was because it was so organic to the characters. Like, it wasn't forced. I love dry comedy. I love conversational comedy. Like, that's my thing. So when it literally flows into the conversation, those jabs so effortlessly, like it sticks with me. So it's like, cause you chocolate. I don't know why it's so funny. He's like, why? Because most of y'all are, like, the amount of racial jokes were hilarious. Like, when he was like, you could go out there and say more things because you have way more material than me. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it was hilarious. So that's why I really loved their chemistry, because Jack Harlow wasn't trying to come off as a white person trying to be black. He was literally coming off as a white person. And Sinqua was, in essence, a very frustrated black man with a shorter fuse, mainly because in my perception is he understands the weight on his back. He knows what he's working for, what he's doing it for. He's doing it for a bigger purpose for his wife, so that he can meet her halfway, give her what she wants, so she can have her salon, all that stuff. This is not a game to him. Plus, he lost out on his dream due to a situation in his anger. It's a whole bigger picture. And so Jack Harlow's character is very immature. And so they worked well because, one, he don't take shit serious. He puts himself, he's very selfish. And Sinqua, although he's more angry, he's more selfless. He's doing things for a bigger purpose, for a bigger reason. And Jack Harlow wasn't. So either way, like, chemistry for the two of them. And last but not least, I just want to say shout out to Vince Staples and Miles Bullock. Number one, I love when they have secondary characters and they play their roles and they play it well. Miles and Vince, Renzo and Speedy together were just toppings on the cake. They added to the story. They didn't do too much. And I just want to especially shout out Miles Renzo, because baby, he was hilarious. I loved his character, and I just felt like he didn't do too much. He was always talking shit. I ain't gonna hold you. I felt like it was so good. Besides the fact that I really wish they just didn't call it A White Man Can't Jump. I don't know what you would have called it, but that's the only thing that's pissing me off. Like, just don't call it that. But I thought it was so good. And rest in peace, Lance Reddick. I'm very curious, right? Because in the end, this is a fucking spoiler. If you don't want to know anything else, then stop watching and go watch it if you have not seen it yet. Like, number one, and this is just a conversation for everyone, go support shit. Okay, I want to see more of your stories. Go support it. Like, I'm not telling you to spend money if you don't got it, but if you have the money and it's in theaters, go watch, support it. And you see it's on a streamer, go watch it. Instead of watching a very, very old show for the very first time that they don't need your support, or instead of watching your favorite show for the 100th time, go watch something new. Like, I implore you to watch something that just came out, especially it's by a Black and brown creator. I think we need to really start addressing the fact that we don't really support our shit, because a lot of really bad things make more money and hit number one on these streamers than a lot of really, really good Black and brown directed projects. So, and don't believe me, go fucking look up the numbers, because that's what I do. And I just get angry every time I see it. I'm like, God damn it. Anyway, spoiler alert. So if you have not seen White Man Can't Jump, go watch it. Like, don't listen to critics. I think they gave it 29 on Rotten Tomato, but like audience review was like 73. Do not listen to critics. Go watch it and form your own opinion. And I really think you're gonna enjoy it. Like, that's just point blank period. But rest in peace, Lance Reddick. And I'm very, very interested if the movie was supposed to end differently, but since he really did pass away in real life, if they did that purposefully. It was done so well and so beautifully, in my opinion. He had a small role in this film, and the way that, like, that's my favorite part. Like, I loved all of the comedy, I loved everything, but I really, really love that in the midst of all this celebration, we watched him go through something, know it happened, have a feeling that it happened, and still push through. Like, it was such a weirdly really good moment, especially a full circle moment, because he technically ruined his entire life, or his entire future, when he punched a kid because his dad was in hospital, and when he was diagnosed with MS that day of the basketball tournament when he was young, or the basketball game when he was young, and then he won, and then his whole life changed. Personally, I'd be here for it. I don't want no sequels, but I really, like, y'all, I implore you, check it out. It is really, really good. Don't listen to critics. Form your own opinion. I think I have my own feeling of critics, and of course I am a critic now because I am critiquing this film, but I am a person with an opinion, just like them. Take it at face value. I would like to also say shout out to Kenya. Shout out to Kenya Burrs and Doug Hall, but especially shout out to Kenya because he's 2 for 2 for me this year, because You People was fucking great, and those that hated it, I don't know what to tell you. Take a joke. And this, I thought it was really good. So shout out to him, and shout out to Calmatic, because we ain't asked for it, but damn it, you did good. Go watch it. Let me know your thoughts. If you already see it, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Because I'm curious, you know. What did you love about it? What did you hate about it? Shout out to y'all. If y'all haven't seen it, check it out. I am Sharifa. I will see y'all in the comment section.